before I let Patrick take it away, please check our doobly-doo down below for our sister shows as part of the Heroes Wanted collective of shows, as well as our Extra Life page. But without further ado, take it away, Patrick.
Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome everyone to tonight's game. I am the Dungeon Master, be putting the players in a variety of situations to see how they respond. Joining me tonight as we do a little bit of retconning, as last session I checked my notes to see that I didn't actually check my notes last time and did a few things differently than I wanted to. So that'll be taken care of at the very beginning. Joining me tonight are...
Hello, everyone. My name is Lorne, and I will be playing the Tiefling Artificer, Dr. Badme Eisen, who has gone with the Alchemist section of the Artificer, so all the potions and acids and fire and everything.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Maximilian T. Justice, and I'm here to do some family therapy with the Sunkissed family. You all need to start listening now.
Inspiration, and hi, I'm Ian. I'll be playing Seymour Sunkissed, the Warlock newspaper man, and tonight's top story... No, you know what? I can't do this tonight. What? No, call the weekend guy. I don't care. I'm out of here. Bye!
Hi everyone, I am Tara, and I shall be playing Chirrup, the Kenku Bard of the College, there we go, of Whispers.
I'm Stephanie, and I'm playing Molly Goldman, Socialist Cleric and Defender of the Proletariat, who's hoping that Seymour will still have access to his trust fund.
I am Brendan, and I'll be playing Julius, the Vidalcan Wizard.
In last session, our party completed infiltrating the meeting between the Grey Patriot bandits and the Claws of Tiamat. You found you were not the only uninvited guests here, though, as a warband of orcs and ogres attacked the camp while you rescued the hostages, including Seymour's father, but learned that in the interim, Seymour's mother had been killed. From inside Jarala's wagon, you recovered a journal of Jarala's quote-unquote life that had been written by the soul of a bard that had been trapped inside it, though he told you most of it was hogwash and garbage. And Seymour ripped a dragon skull chest off the wall, and you have taken that with you.
It exploded, didn't it?
It did. You still have pieces of the head, though. Jarala herself was killed by the son of the dragon, the massive blue-scaled dragonkin named Azarkul you had witnessed in your visions at the Pool of Radiance under the Valhingen graveyard. You heard him call Jarala a heretic, and you watched him grab some kind of wand that he said she had stolen from him. That was the wand of teleportation. And as he and what appeared to be a duplicate of himself surrounded her, he called her out for her heresy, claiming to be the Claws of Tiamat, and instead let her know that inside him raged the soul of Tiamat and the breath of Tiamat, and he killed her with his breath weapon that seemed to incorporate all 5 type of dragon breaths in one. He then tossed her lifeless body off the cliff. Seeing this, you backed through the caves and out, attempting to escape with your now freed captives. However, you ran into a couple of leaders of the orcs that had let you pass earlier, saying you would die last, and they attempted to make good on their words. And indeed, it was a pitched battle. But at the end, you managed to escape the king's pyre with your prisoners. it's been a long march back around the lake as you escape with these people and night falls and becomes full dark. We cut away to a printing press in Brindle that is quickly printing out copies of the obituary of Seymour's mother. But we pick up with you meeting back up with your contact from the Welcomers, who is able to escort you back to town, back to Brindle itself. Is there anything anybody wish to accomplish on the way?
Yeah, make this old fucker talk. What was in your room?
Yeah.
Why was it there? Why did we have to find this and Mother is dead?
I'm
Seymour Sunkist, there may be a time and a place for this. It is likely not on the trek back.
Just give me 1 minute alone with him.
yeah.
Dendrick's eyes have a hard time even sort of, kind of focusing as you do pepper him with questions. I will say at this point the Welcomers have got you sort of in the back of wagons. He doesn't even look at you as he responds, Seymour.
You've ruined this family. My
Seymour.
mother's name.
Seymour Sunkist.
Seymour.
Calm down.
No! You are not part of this family. Everything he built, he is ruined by siding with these.
Seymour.
We don't know that yet for certain.
Seymour.
Your head is as empty as your purse would be without my money, child.
Seymour, please take a rest.
Had you not joked around, acted like your usual fickle self, your mother would still be alive. It was your inability to take anything seriously.
Joked
Caused
around.
that.
I
I'll
had
get
no
to you.
idea.
I'll get back to you. You never do. Because you've had everything handed to you. Our wealth coddled you.
Ollie kind of side-eye nod in front of Seymour, but kind of goes like,
And I am here trying to fix whatever problems you've caused that killed Mother. I'll get back to you. Yes, I don't know that you've been kidnapped. They could be anyone. I will get back to you. Why was there that shrine in your bedroom?
It's nothing. It's part of a fraternal order I've been part of for decades.
Fraternal order? What? Did you put your dick in a pig?
Okay, everyone stop.
Seymour, stop.
Everyone stop. We have a long road back to Brindle. This isn't helping. Seymour, oh god, what the hell is his name again?
Dendrick.
Seymour, Dendrick, I need you guys to sit over here and over here. We'll have more than enough time to have this conversation once heads are clear. Am I making myself clear on this?
And
Who the hell are you?
Yeah, who the hell are you?
Seymour.
I just look at both of them and I go, I'm someone who's trying to help you. You can accept that, or you can reject it. I'm fine either way.
And with that,
But right now,
Seymour
it seems that the both of you need as much help as you can get right now.
Seymour will pull out his flask at that, about to take a drink, look at it, and just kind of throw it into the corner of the... Are we in a room, or no, we're traveling?
In the back of a wagon.
Yeah, and get off and start walking far behind the wagon.
Seymour.
I think I should speak up to say that when he was contacted, It was after we discovered your shrine, and as such, we were unsure of what your exact allegiance to that group that we were dealing with was.
Indeed. A 5-headed effigy when we are dealing with a group of Tiamat worshippers being found in your room.
What are you
Certainly
talking about?
did
A
not
5-headed effigy? What the hells are you speaking of?
In your study, hidden
Yes,
behind a trapdoor.
It was in the.
Yeah,
It's an
we-
upside down tree.
yeah, it was an upside down.
The upside down tree, yeah.
It is.
There's-
We've seen that been used by several people who were following Tiamat, though, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, at
we
least
had
in
no
one
idea that's
group.
what it was. Someone in the Order hundreds of years ago found it somewhere around Rest. I'd seen it once or twice when we were adventuring.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you found an ancient sigil that no one was currently using and decided, hey, that looks nice, why don't we use it for ourselves?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't choose the symbology of our order.
Okay, listen.
And
Okay.
frankly, it was those of us who were farmers that thought it was unique and interesting. This Jarala thought we were an active cult of dragon worshippers. When she found out we weren't, she saw us as frauds and blasphemers for using the symbol.
it is a reasonable assumption to make given the context.
Okay.
It is the
yeah.
same assumption
Yeah.
we made.
It sounds
Seymour's death glaring the wagon from like 40 feet back.
You
Trying to
can't
calm him
hear any of
down.
this then.
Yeah.
No, I can't. No, I can't. I'm just completely still death glaring from my storm out.
All right, and Max is going to hang his head, and he's just going to be like, "This sounds like a series of terrible, terrible misunderstandings." But Dendrick, I need you to understand something here.
I am Mr. Sunkissed, thank you.
Lord
Chirp
Sunkist.
will just squawk out, Dendrick!
Yeah, oh sorry, Lord Sunkissed.
Lord
Dendrick!
Sunkist, I need you to understand something here. The person who kidnapped you and your wife was looking for something that we are sworn to secrecy over. That something is not a trifle. That something is not
What they were
a
searching
minor-
for
Let's
is...
not get into details.
Was it worth
Of-
my wife's life?
It was
It
an
is-
order of
Are you
destroying the
saying I
multiverse,
should-
sir.
Think
No.
so?
This-
It was order of destroying the multiverse.
We were sworn to
why I
secrecy
wanted to-
by.
We were sworn to
This
secrecy,
is
yes.
why I wanted to have this conversation later, when heads are not as hot.
I don't believe heads will ever be cool unless we have this conversation, Maximilian T. Justice. Lord Dendrick Sunkist, you have my word that your boy made the correct choice. The secret in question, were it to get into the wrong hands, would likely have spelled the death of your wife, yourself, and all of us anyway.
And he will look to you, Molly, for confirmation of this.
She's AFK. I'm
I
sorry.
think Molly's actually with Seymour anyway.
Yeah, she went off with. We'll say she went off with Seymour to comfort him, I guess.
You've known each other for quite a while. She's seen you get pissed off. This is beyond the pale.
Yes, exactly.
Now we've had this conversation. Does Dendrick Sunkist know who Max is? Like, have we
You
met?
don't know.
Okay.
He asked
You've not
you were.
you've not met. You've not met.
Okay.
Doesn't mean he doesn't know who you are.
Okay. And I say, Molly will confirm this. As for myself, I'm a paladin sworn to the service of Torm. I'm a member of the Lions of Brindle. My name is Maximilian T. Justice, and as much as that name has any worth to you,
My
have to
dad
know
would snort at that. Yeah.
that all of this is true. And
I
given
know who
the
you all
context
are.
that he
I've
had-
been reading my son's paper.
Is this
I'll
something,
tell
Seymour
you
didn't
something.
think that.
is this something
Sir-
that you would like us to
Sir,
share?
if
No.
I may add,
Okay.
he, with great reluctance, kept out the information that we were safeguarding. You know how much your son likes to report everything he hears.
Yes, he and his mother are incorrigible gossips.
No,
No.
That is Seymour, yes.
Frankly, hearing that... How many of those exploits are true?
Have we read them? Do we know how
It's-
much he's exaggerating?
It's okay. So there are a few points within the story where things are a little bit changed to protect, like Chirrup and Haboob, but otherwise it's 100% on point.
Barring
I-
a few minor details.
I have seen your son act quite responsible, actually, when the chips were on the table.
Actually,
Give me a deception check.
I have seen Seymour make good decisions in combat
Yes.
when he needed to.
He has, he's healed us. So he is not. He has
He
not
was
always
clutch.
acted frivolously.
Several times.
Outside of combat, yes, totally. But in combat, he handles himself.
Oh.
Like he saved us a couple of times in the fight on the cliffs with the ogres or orcs rather.
And that is what I've wanted for him for his whole life. I came up being an adventurer. It teaches you things you cannot learn anywhere else, and his demeanor has been anything but serious. So in reading his exploits, it's actually made me wonder if he has learned something and become a real man.
Give him time.
Respectfully, sir, I think his demeanor is a shield. You can be quite presentful with your presence, and it is somewhat intimidating if you're not used to it. It is even more intimidating when you are used to it. I believe he acts that way because it is the only way to gain your attention.
Then he's even dumber than I thought he was. And that's the first time you see almost a hint of a smirk as he says that, though. But he says, well, it seems like he has found a decent cadre of people to be with, and if you're going to continue together, I hope you can continue to bring this out of him. I think it is time to throw that bird out of the nest. He seems to be doing all right for himself.
Squawk! Sure, Black just kind of ruffles feathers and like,
that-
hey, Birdman here.
Yeah,
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
It's a turn of phrase, Chirp. They don't actually mean throw you out of this wagon.
Feathers, calm down.
Seymour marching along.
Is there anything
death
else?
face behind.
Is there anything else you need to know?
Yes, the symbol. Do you know where it was found? Precisely where it was found.
The person who could have told you that was strapped to a tree outside the caves. I know it I'm not even one of the highest ranking members. They were all eliminated almost immediately by Jirala.
Back.
I know it was found somewhere in the Wormsmoke Mountains. A group from Rest cleared out an old fane or temple there and brought it back to Rest itself. So I don't know, there's probably more information in one of the sunken libraries in Rest, or it's somewhere in the Wormsmokes, if it still exists anywhere at all.
Now, in my notes, the talking book said something about Wormsmoke.
That is where Jirala and Azar-Kul were, and where she stole from him before she fled.
I am afraid of this Azar-Kul gentleman. I don't know that we need to go near where he is yet.
At some point, we'll get to Azar-Kul. This brings us to the matter of the Grey Patriots. I don't know how many of them survived that attack. I
am certain
briefly
that remains.
Saw some combats, but not a lot. I don't think Sand survived. Even if he did, he's not rebuilding for quite some time.
I agree. They are almost certainly not in any position to menace people on the road again.
And we did reduce a good deal of their number with our ally here, the ones who wish to get out of the way. So we might have blunted their ability to perform.
And as everyone's been chatting with Lord Dendrick, Seymour's getting more and more flustered, pissed off, and comes walking up and, "What do you have to say to him? My mother is dead because he had a secret shrine."
Seymour.
Same Seymour. Please
Seymour.
calm down.
I think we're in the wagon still. They're behind us.
Oh.
Seymour.
Your mother knew about it, dumbass!
That actually broke up. Can you repeat that?
Your mother knew about it, dumbass.
What, you're
Is he
working
Red
with
Foreman now?
Tiamat?
Is he Red Foreman now?
I don't know who that is.
The dad.
That 70s
That's
show.
70s show.
Okay.
Kurt, what's his name?
Kurtwood Smith.
Thank you.
Yeah. Seymour, we'll talk about the shrine. Just don't worry about that. Just get back in the wagon, please.
Get to the bottom of this, Seymour. Okay, just please relax.
Relax?
You know what I mean? We can't have you running about. Not saying you have to be happy.
Chirp is quietly encouraging anarchy here.
Ooh, really? Anarchy?
He's still mad. You know how he gets.
Oh yeah, Chirp gives absolutely. He's totally on Seymour's side here. I actually think Chirp has some daddy issues at this point, but he's like, you know what? His Dendrick is being an asshole. It's Dendrick's fault. His wife is dead. Blah blah blah. Like Chirp is totally on Seymour's side with this. He's like, no, be mad. Call your father a dick. Don't mend fences right away.
Oh, Seymour is totally in the mental state that would escalate. Yeah.
Not so much like escalating the violence, to be fair, because, we are traveling together.
Oh, I meant family drama.
Yeah. Yes, my daddy took off for worms, never came back.
All right.
That's perfect.
You guys needed me for something while I was grabbing my order?
Oh, we said you had gone off with Seymour when he stomped off angrily because you know him the best, and you're like, you've never seen him this pissed off before.
But Julius made claims that Seymour had been acting bravely and rashly and a good companion. So at some point, he will come to you, Molly, just to confirm some of this.
About
He was
Dendrick?
looking. Yeah, Dendrick will to confirm, Seymour his growth, because he was looking to you to get confirmation when Julius, gave a good character appraisal of Seymour.
In my backstory, you're the only one of my Seymour's friends that he approves of. Even though you're a communist and he's a bourgeoisie.
And I call him Dendrick.
It's because you're a woman
Whose
of
face?
the
You
cloth.
Do. So Dendrick will come to me later, or
Yeah, and he will just, say, your compatriots told me some interesting stories about my son.
yes, you should see Seymour. Not the little boy in the library anymore. I mean, he got this magic item. He can lift things now.
Yeah, I saw him lifting some of the staff around. It was rather annoying.
Also, Dendrick, we do have to ask. So, you had that altar in your bedroom hidden away, and
It's part of a fraternal organization. We weren't Dragon Cult members. We didn't realize that's where it had come from. When
So-
Jarala saw it, she thought we were a practicing cult and called us blasphemers, and that's one of the reasons she kidnapped us and killed a whole bunch of us.
insight check, and do I have advantage because I've known him since I was like 10 or 12 or so?
Absolutely. And yeah, he does not appear to be lying at this point. I mean, he is in grief. You can see his mind is just kind of broken, and so his speech is a little more halting than what I've been doing, but yeah, it's very clear he is just kind of dumbfounded by all of this.
What was the name of the fraternal order?
We were the Fraternal Order of the Leaves. It was mostly for those of us who were farmers and the well-to-do.
Did I have heard about this?
You wouldn't have heard about it. Shut up. You heard about that from your contact Monteron. He thought when you showed him the symbol, he thought it might be something as dumb as a fraternal organization.
Yep, and I told him that, well, I wasn't wrong, because I did tell him it had to do with Tiamat, and I told him just to report back to us if he found out anybody who was a part of the group so we could look into them.
Well,
Yeah.
technically,
So,
it wasn't
not a bad
Tiamat. It was more what's the name of the ancient dragon that spawned Bahamut and Tiamat?
Oh, I can't remember.
Because it
They were the first. Sardior was their spawn.
yeah, really?
Yeah, Sardior came after them. They created him.
Point being, they're all about Tiamat now.
Yes.
So, yeah, so, okay. So the information wasn't wrong. It's just not everybody, if he passes on any names to Chirrup, there's probably a fairly good chance that, they're not going to be dragon cultists at this point now.
Correct.
Blah.
Still don't
Oh, well,
know.
whatever.
Hang him.
Still
Seymour?
good information to have.
And I'll turn to Dendrick and I'll say, how did Jarala come in contact with you if you're a fraternal order of the well-to-do?
The priest who led the fraternal order, someone seems to have tracked one of the artifacts to him.
This priest's name?
For God's sake, that's back in my notebook. He's the dead body you found strapped to the tree at the King's Pyre, though.
We
Yeah, they
received the guy's name.
Yeah, they went through the leadership first.
They only found out about our connection to Seymour a little bit later.
I kidnap all of you again? Just because you were heretics? It seems like a large
She would hope we
operation.
were going to be. She hoped we were going to be allies. She thought we were a serious cult of the dragon.
Seymour still does.
Then when you refused,
He tells you that she killed half a dozen of the leaders, and when Seymour wasn't immediately offering up that temple they were searching for, they killed more.
Is that his wife's name, or is he like literally the word more?
The word more. He kind of stumbles over her name. You can see he just can't quite say that she's dead yet. And this is just Molly and him right now.
Sybil. Sybil was her name.
okay.
Yep.
My condolences to you for Sybil. Although we didn't get along, especially when she had me beaten a half a dozen times for impertinence. I'm sorry for your loss, and if you need any guidance from a religious standpoint, I am here to help.
Thank you. What can you tell me about that Justice fellow?
Oh, he's an orphan, was raised in some sort of paladin group. I can't remember off the top of my head. He is your typical paladin, you know. Follows the law to the end, but he's slightly more sensible than some of his ilk. Why are you asking?
No reason.
I want to insight check that.
Go for it.
Poor rolls, poor rolls, poor rolls.
Good rolls. Drama, drama.
13.
He's clearly holding something back.
You can tell me. Are you looking for a personal guard or something?
Not a bad idea at this point, but no. No, I it just reminds me of someone.
Someone you used to know?
Someone I used to adventure with.
Oh yes, I forgot you were an adventurer. What was the name of your group again?
What, do I have Ian's backstory in front of me?
I assumed you did.
Ian!
You might.
I don't think Ian put that in.
I did not. I have it in front of me right now.
Ironically, it was just the Grey Patriots. Just like coincidentally. Completely unrelated.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
They stole it.
Yeah,
Great
that would be
Patriots.
perfect.
But they spelled it with A instead of E.
We
Oh,
were no,
because Seymour's
we were no
name
Six
spelled
Blades or anything like that, but we weren't bad.
Maybe you know his family or something.
Could be. Or killed his family.
Ooh!
The life of an adventurer. I'm sure you've taken more lives than you ever thought you would.
Well, the path of protecting the proletariat, must be defended, but with the blood of evildoers and patriots, so...
I thought you were about to say the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of selfish men.
What's that from?
That's
Pulp Fiction.
a misquoted Bible verse from Pulp
Yes.
Fiction, yes.
And also, it's full of shit.
And also, I think double misquoted because I believe he just also misquoted it.
Yeah, probably.
But I couldn't wait once I made enough coin to leave it behind and just grow something. It's so much more fulfilling to grow and feed than to kill.
You have been listening to my mother's sermons.
We only disagree on a few salient points.
Booze, I know. I mean, who can be like so obsessed with with an ideology like that? I mean, come on, Mom.
Yeah. I also don't see a problem with making a profit off of helping feed people. Nothing extreme, but profit.
Nothing extreme, of course, and I will kind of like give him the like a friendly side eye.
This is more the kind of conversations the two of you have been having for years, so.
Yeah, I'm
A
a token
friendly
communist.
debate. Yeah, it's a friendly debate over ideology.
Yeah.
I own you, and you don't think I own you.
Wow.
A little profit doesn't mean you get to own all the land and a massive house.
Just take care of my son if he needs it.
I
That
will.
might be the
I
last time I
have.
call him that for quite some time.
What, your son? What's that? I
He-
couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that might be the last time I call him that for quite some time. He needs to make his own way.
Indeed, as we all do. But he's really changed. He used to be shut up in his library all day unless I drug him out or in the printing press.
I don't like that press.
There is something about it. Where did you buy that again?
I didn't. He built it.
Right.
Ooh.
Forgot he used to spend hours and hours and drink buckets of coffee and booze. And
In the backstory, you don't like going there because it keeps biting you, but you don't know why.
Yes, and I swear it bites me. Has it bitten you?
I wouldn't have ever said to anyone else, but yeah.
It's cursed.
Keep thinking my robe or something got caught on it, but no, it felt like it tried to bite me. I don't go around it. Haven't for ages.
First I thought it was the hem of my robes or skirts. Then I was wearing pants around it. Then it would take some of my sleeve or a bit of my shoe or my hair.
Yeah, I think there's something there that's a bad influence. It's why I'm glad he's out and exploring rather than being shut up with it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Seymour
And
will
I'm
walk
not a
through
fan
this.
I'm not a fan of the gossip. He got that from his mother. Love of
Oh,
tales
God,
and
yes.
stories is one thing.
That's in the backstory. That's where Seymour got his gossip, was from his mother.
I mean,
Check.
I mean, honestly, the paper might be half full now if he, because Sybil was his main source.
Well, she knew everyone and everything. Her funeral's going to be an event.
Are you having it at Sunkissed Manor, or are you having it in town?
I don't know. I'll see what her will says. She would have had it all planned out, down to the music she wants the musicians to play and the type of flowers.
She was always thorough.
She had few questions. She knew what she wanted and what she liked. Smart and strong-willed is a fearsome combination.
You don't have to tell me that.
I know.
Backside still itches occasionally. Whenever whenever we're about to get to a snowstorm.
You earned a few of those, though.
Oh, I couldn't let Seymour just sit inside. Who just leaves a child to sit inside?
Someone who wants a learned boy and wants to keep them safe. Yeah. I need to rest.
Yes, please do.
Thank you for coming to get me. I know you tried.
We did.
Literally, Seymour went to come and get him, asshole.
All tried,
We're not
including
there.
Seymour.
I know or not.
He's gonna need some support.
Always has. But I'm here. And our team's all here for him, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would you like to sign my charter?
Ah!
Every conversation ends that way.
Conversation!
It's amazing.
true.
I told you 20 years ago. No.
Roll me a persuasion check.
20.
1, 1, 1, 1.
Oh!
Ooh.
Ow! 19! Ow!
Terrible.
Ask me when we get home.
Absolutely. Please rest. I'll also write to my mother and so she can be so she's aware of the situation.
Thank you. All right. Is there anything else that you wish to do on your trip back to Brindle?
I have a convo with Seymour and I'll give him some cider.
It doesn't take it. And seethes. There's a lot of seething going on with Seymour right now.
Seymour.
It's
More like-
seethed more.
See,
There you go.
Is Seymour still stomping around?
Oh, he's
Yeah, sure.
stomping. Yeah, he's still stomping. He
Sure,
hasn't
but-
heard any of this, so he has no idea. He still thinks his dad is a cultist.
Seymour?
Sheriff is just a bird stomping along beside him.
That's helpful. I don't know why, but that's helpful, Cherub. I appreciate it.
Tucky tucky.
I believe your father's telling the truth.
That what? It wasn't his altar?
No.
That he didn't hide an altar in the bedroom that got my mother killed?
What I'm saying is...
Did he do that?
What I'm saying is, I'm not arguing about the altar. We all saw it. What I'm saying is, I do think your father was just an idiot in this regard and was playing around like all the rich bourgeoisie do with
What do
things
you-
he didn't understand.
Wait, what do you mean?
I do believe, and
Seymour doesn't know that they just picked it because it looked nice.
I do believe they picked it because it looked nice, and they did this stupid Order of the Leaves. There's 50 million of these
Wait.
fraternal orders in the city.
So my mother is dead because of his jape? Because him and his friends joked around like he criticizes me?
No. What?
That's exactly what it sounds like,
My mother
yes.
is dead because an evil person thought their stupidity was a cult and tried to bring them into the fold. When they refused, they decided that a great idea was to just murder people. That is why your mother died. Your mother died because a psychopath is insane. And sadly, she had a target on her back. That is why she died.
She had a target on her back because father wanted to be in some club with his friends where they steal the images of evil dragons.
I'm not saying what your father did was a good thing.
He's responsible. They all are. Him, Uncle Jim, Uncle Fester.
Well, the person responsible is the person who actually did the deed. This, I can't even pronounce the name correctly.
Hirala.
Jirala. And was it also the blue dragon thing?
Azarkul.
Azarkul. Jirala and Azarkul are the ones who actually killed your mother and threw her body into a pyre. No one else did that.
No, but it was started by someone, and I don't think I'll be able to call him father for a long time.
If it takes that long to heal, yes, but I just wanted you to know, as a part of your grieving process, I don't think he's lying at the very least.
He still killed her.
The Jirala and Azarkul killed her.
No, what his childhood japes that he was so critical of others for is what killed her. And Seymour will shut up and keep walking behind the wagon. Stompa, stompa, stompa with cheer up.
Stompa, stompa, stompa. Yeah,
Stompa, stompa.
Chirp didn't leave through that whole conversation because no one told him to leave.
Nope, Chirp was there the whole time, so I'm like, stompa, stompa,
Just a
stompa.
little bird.
We trust Chirrup implicitly.
And along the route that you are taking, along the riverside and passing the apple and pear orchards, at one point you turn around from your stomping and see that about a half dozen kids from the orchards are stomping along behind you, just kind of playing along as they munch on pears and apples that they've been selling to people as you pass by.
So absolutely infuriating Seymour to the point where the rest of the party gets to laugh while he ineffectually tries to scare them off as we're continuing on. And it's just making him more and more frustrated.
And then I sit there, roll my eyes, and say, "Oh, the bourgeoisie."
I mean, come on. There's a Birdman stomping along down their rural road. They've never seen that. You're like,
Yeah.
This is cool. We're going to follow that.
Fair.
Also, that's the people, not the bourgeoisie.
No, I'm talking about Seymour running off in a huff.
Oh, yeah, no, that's absolutely the bourgeoisie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm kind of like Seymour's.
It's the
like,
bourgeois A to Z.
Ah.
Seymour's babysitter, for lack of a better word, right now until he calms down. I'm just gonna stick by his side, make sure he doesn't
Protector?
Yeah. Just keeping an eye on him until he calms down.
Just giving him a light dose of poison to keep him under control.
Oh, I think that's what the flask is for.
The flask
Chirp
has been
would've-
poisoned the whole time.
It's
Chirp would
like
have picked that up.
it's like rubbing a little whiskey on a baby's gums to get him to
There
calm
you
down
go.
and go to sleep.
There you go.
And, eventually you see the broad grain fields and farmlands that surround Brindle for miles and miles. And then the walls of this city come into view. And you are, welcomed back into the protected enclave that is the city of Brindle. What does the party do as you arrive back in town here?
Well, first thing I need to do is I'm going straight to the garrison headquarters and I'm reporting all of this in. Like, there is another force and they need to know, like, the Lions need to know right now.
Same. I'm assuming, like, are we going back to the Sunkissed Manor, or are we holding up at a hotel?
In
At an inn or
Brindle, we
something?
have the farm. There's the farm. The manor was back in Denovar. The
Denovar.
Sunkissed farm is in Brindle, so we can actually go back
Okay.
to the farm.
You
Okay.
are not welcome at the farm.
didn't think we would be, and Seymour actually wouldn't have said to go back there either. So
So
Yeah.
wherever it is we're like staying, like Chirp is going to like make sure, like, hey,
So
where are we staying? We're
Brindle
staying
was where
here.
we started.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you off. Brindle was where we started, right? Oh, so this is where my mother is.
Yes, you've been through Brindle a few times. Brindle is one of the main farm centers. It's the second largest, enclave in the Vale itself. You guys actually started in Neiman Gap.
Yeah.
What we can do, we can stay with my parents. We can stay on on the lands of my collective.
I'm not sharing a bed with your grandfather again. He doesn't cut his toes nails.
Seymour, you, most people are happy they have a bed.
Crossed arms.
So we have. Oh, do we have the
We still have the wagon. I figure
wagon.
my dad's.
You do not still have the wagon.
Oh.
What happened to the wagon? Crap,
That
remind
was,
us.
that was left
wagon.
at the farm.
And you're not welcome on the farm.
And
I
also,
can go
it's
get
his
it.
dad's wagon. I don't think, I do not believe your father wishes to provide aid to you currently.
Yeah,
How many horses?
there is the Craven Raven Inn in Brindle, as well as Discreet Departures. That is a sort of way station for travelers.
So Chirp's going to check in wherever it is we're staying. Then he's going to report into the welcomers. And how many horses are needed to pull that wagon?
4.
2. Oh, was it 4? Sorry.
See what kind of terrible person Seymour is.
Too bad we don't have a boob
2
here.
can do it.
Otherwise,
It's fine.
otherwise, Chirp was going to ask Haboob to help him to steal the wagon.
What? Go overpay for a bunch of horses? Haboob's in.
Haboob has
Well, no,
never
like, go-
overpaid for livestock. I don't know what you're talking
Like,
about.
Go onto the farm, hitch up the horses, and just ride the fuck out of there. Yeehaw!
Sure, I believe it would be better.
So you don't know he's thinking of doing this.
Oh.
Because the boob's not there. That's why I was asking, hey, if it's like 2 horses, then maybe Chirp can do it by himself, but if it's 4, then he'll probably need a hand, which is why he's sad Haboob isn't here.
Seymour will go for it. He's taking this fucking wagon. I put improvements into that.
Alright, well then as soon as I get back from report, like obviously you guys don't know where he's going off to, but we'll check in, Chirp will disappear to report in, and he'll come back and be like, so Seymour, you want to steal the wagon back?
And he'll just straight face, just... That prick, yes.
Alright.
Although... Oh no, he doesn't want it to get out. He will never say we stole it.
Yeah, that's Chirp's plans.
All right. Yeah, you debrief Monteron at the Welcomers. He's kind of shocked by what you said. Disappointed that you weren't able to get confirmation on what happened with the Grey Patriots, but he's pleased to hear that they've been crippled, if not killed.
Mm-hmm.
But is also interested in this Lady Dagger figure in Drellin's Ferry, who's clearly been cutting deals with people behind their backs. If you
Find
need
her?
to get out of town, yeah, find her.
Chirp will nod.
Deal with her.
Nod again.
And Maximilian, you go back to check in and they have you wait at the keep for a few minutes, and then you are ushered, up the stairs into the meeting room that you've been into before. But instead of just meeting with those that you know before, Tredora and Axenhaft,
Yeah.
as well, you recognize Captain Lars Ulverth, who is the leader of the Lion Guard in Brindle, is also standing next to them and, sort of resplendent in this shining armor that has been sort of dented and bruised, but, repaired. And he's well known for keeping this same suit of armor that he's had forever and ever as a sort of way of reminding himself where he came from as he worked his way up the ranks. As
Every
well,
time I see it, it's just so shiny.
yeah. And then there is also you are introduced to Immerstal the Red, who is one of our great wizards of Brindle. And he, will introduce himself, and the captain comes around and,
Mr. the Red.
Salutes you and listens to your report and says, so those are the basics. What is the next step?
Well, quite frankly, sir, I don't know. This Azarkul creature thing seems like an imminent threat, but I don't know where they're based out of. I don't know where they are going to next. We have a few very basic and perfunctory hints from, of all places, a talking journal. Mentioned something about the Red Hand. I believe that's their group. Worm Smoke, we believe that's the Worm Smoke Mountains, where they're from, and Brindle, which suggests that at some point they will be attempting an assault on Brindle. As far as where they are, where they're gathering, what their force sizes look like, I, unfortunately, sir, have not the foggiest.
You're usually stationed out of Drellin's Ferry?
Drellin's Ferry, yes, sir.
Go back there. Figure out what's going on in the Worm Smokes. We'll go take a look around King's Pyre. You said you saw smoking ruins of presumably what was the camp of the kobolds. We'll investigate there and see what we can find.
Yes, sir. And as far as the Grey Patriots, my knowledge of them is largely secondhand. I did see a bit of fighting myself. I don't believe that the Grey Patriots survived the assaults on King's Pyre. If Sand himself has not been killed, I don't know where he is, but I suspect he's not in shape to reassemble the Patriots for quite some time.
And at this, the dwarf will speak up and say, sounds like to me we owe the Red Hand almost a little bit of thanks.
I'd like to say that. I wouldn't, but I'd like to say that.
And Axenhaft at this point will say, now, you also have some unfinished business in Prosser, I believe. Our scouting group were quite handily rebuffed, but they do believe that Lady Alagonder's barrow is there.
Okay, sorry, Lady Alagondo?
Alagondar. She is, you found the poem. She was the famous dragon slayer, and
yes,
you believe that her sword might be found in a barrow in and around Prosser. You'd explained that to the Lions earlier, and they sent out some people to go check out the two towns you had suggested, Prosser being one of them.
Yes. Okay. Well, just looking at my map, we could take a detour through Prosser on our way back, or I could take a detour through Prosser on my way back to Drown's Ferry. I'm not sure where the rest of my group is going to be heading, but if it's going to be in that direction, we could head down through Prosser and then head west through Douth and then up through Tarleton back to Drown's Ferry. Yes, minor detour, but we could check that out on our way.
Excellent. The person you're going to look for is Dalier's Starcloak. She's a half-elf. She's the former member of the Six Blades. Talented group of heroes, but they've retired there and are just invested in peace now. But she's the, chief constable, judge, and troubleshooter. She runs the tap house.
Ah, excellent. So she's a judge, a constable. Basically, she's the law.
Indeed. You're dismissed.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And I will turn and I will leave.
All right.
I will march out. On my way, sort of back to where I was staying, I'm gonna pop by. The Sunkist estate. I want to check in on a few of the survivors. So I check in on a few of the survivors, but I do pop in on the Sunkist estate.
What time of day is this? Is he walking on Chirp and Seymour trying to steal the wagon?
This would be late afternoon going into evening at this point. So I'm assuming you guys are going to do this at night, not during the middle of the day.
Oh, for sure. But if Max is going, you will remember when we defeated the lizard men. That part of the crew that came from Seymour's mansion was the Renown family. So
that's outside of Demon Gap, though.
Shit! I forgot about that. Yes, never mind.
Yeah, you guys in Brindle. In Brindle, you've got the sort of nicer home that the pig destroyed everything around. So
yeah, it's more like apartments here. It's not a farm. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Okay, so in estates of sorts.
You find, staff moving around. The general air of everything is very low. You see a lot of staff wearing black armbands. His, footman comes to see you when he hears you're here and just says, the Lord is out making arrangements. How may I assist you now?
Sorry, I was mostly coming in to check in on Lord Sunkist. I just wanted to. I'm just checking in on the survivors from King's Pyre, and I wanted to see how he was doing, how he was holding up.
It has aged him greatly, but at the same time, there appears to be a determination in him that I've not seen in a while, so grief will take hold when it does. I don't think it's fully hit him yet.
Well, if you feel it necessary, do tell him that I was by to check in on him. I may be gone for quite some time.
Are you staying at the barracks, or are you at one of the inns in town?
I'm probably going to be staying at the barracks tonight. Although I will be Sorry, what inn? Do I know what inn everybody's staying at, or have I not found that out yet?
Say it's the Craven Raven.
Yes. I will be probably stopping into the Craven Raven tonight. So I'll be found either there or, worst case, the barracks.
Understood.
And I'll take my leave. I'm not sure if I'm going to stumble across anything on my way out.
Give me a perception check or an investigation check if you're looking for anything specific.
I'm not looking for anything specific. 18 perception.
You notice as you are leaving, there is a large trunk-sized object that is covered with a sheet that is not completely covered, and it appears that the altar that was in his bedroom has been moved to the exterior of the house and looks like it's waiting for someone to come pick it up.
I'll just kind of look, grab a stick to sort of lift the lift the tarp, look under it, be like, yeah, that tracks. And then make a note to tell Seymour about this later. Seymour probably would want to know.
He would.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to do in Brindle before we get to the heist?
I will write a letter to my mom in Neiman Gap, just detailing the situation and letting her know what occurred, because she's a priestess of Shantea there.
All right.
I would like... Brindle's where the library was, correct?
Yes.
I'm not gonna do any serious research, but I would like to go to the library and ask if there's maybe an expert on dragons and similar things. I want to find out what Azrakul is, because I don't think Julius would know what a half dragon is.
Yeah. You are easily able to find, an expert in sort of dragon and dragon kin. Give me an investigation check with advantage.
All right, investigation. Oh, 17. I don't know how it rolled twice.
You had advantage, so...
Oh, 20.
A non-natural 20. Yeah, you learned that, a half-dragon usually occurs when a dragon that's in their polymorphed form mates with another creature, that it can occasionally produce something like a half-dragon. Not a dragon-born necessarily. They are their own type of draconic creature. You also learn that it occasionally happens as a result of a wizard spell or ritual gone awry. But it usually requires to bathe in dragon's blood. And it combines the essence of a dragon with the form of the original race.
Would I have been able to tell what the original race was in Azrakul's case?
No, I would say you did not get close enough to him.
Could I assume it was something large or huge?
Definitely something large and, based on his size, and clearly appeared to have blue dragon ancestry.
All right. But he had all 5 breath weapons.
Yes.
Or a breath weapon that was all 5 things at once.
Yes.
He had ogres with him, correct?
Ogres, and you saw Orogs as well.
Orogs aren't large, though. So I'm going to operate under the assumption that Azrakul is a half ogre, half dragon. Would that be reasonable?
Yeah. It's a supposition at this point, but
yeah,
it's reasonable.
And I will ask whoever I've found if they've perhaps heard of Azrakul.
No. No mention of the name or anything like that comes up.
All right. That's it for me.
All right. At this time, Badme, you have achieved proficiency in your new weapon.
Ooh.
I have probably spent the rest of the day just shooting beanbags out at various targets just to gain that
Ow!
efficiency.
Stop!
But you make such a good target, Seymour Sunkist.
Oh, is it the rocket launcher from Fallout 3?
It's the jump jet from Fallout 4.
It's essentially a grenade launcher.
All right, well, I'm okay with this.
All right, that brings us to the evening then. How do Chirrup and Seymour prepare themselves to go steal the wagon?
Well, I assume Seymour is still kind of like keeping to himself because he's still all angry and stuff.
Yep. So how are we gonna do this? Let's stick it
Well-
to him.
Well, Chirrup's going to come up to you and just kind of sit next to you and just blatantly say to you, "Wagon."
We can't take the wagon. I'm not allowed to take it. Apparently, even though I'm the one who's put all the upgrades in it.
Chirrup's going to kind of cock his head and just be like, "Wagon."
No, you make a good point, though. But we need 4 horses. Where are we gonna get 4 horses at this time of night?
And Chirrup in Broken Common Farm has horses.
Fuck it.
And then we'll just
We-
get up and walk out.
Yep. We need
So,
a
yeah.
way to get to our next location.
We have 2 feet.
So-
We can walk to Prosser.
I'm thinking you should maybe handle the horses? What's your animal handling like? Or should we both try and get the horses in together? Maybe Chirrup can cause a distraction for the humans?
I got a 2.
I got a 1 in animal
Patrick,
handling.
where is the wagon? Is it outside of the apartments or is it in a livery of some kind?
The horses you would keep in stables. There would be a livery and stables that sort of looks after all of the neighborhood for that area. I mean, it's posh enough that everyone there has their own sort of individual mounts and things like that. But, you know, like a gated community, they all sort of went in and share the same accommodations. That was there's only one area that smells of the manure as opposed to everybody's house having a bit of it.
Well, that actually might help us out. And
Yeah.
let's hope the news hasn't traveled fast and we can just go in and ask for the horses.
That's a good idea. Now the wagon, would the wagon be like stored in a barn, or I'm assuming it'd be too big to do that. It'd have to be like parked outside.
Yeah, I would assume you would go and you would find, I mean, there's almost a warehouse that houses most of the sort of finer wagons and transport vehicles for the well-to-do. And then there's almost this extra built-on area for the sun-kissed monstrosity.
It's a handsome beast, isn't it?
Okay, so yeah, I guess we go to the neighborhood livery, get us some horses. How are we gonna get the? Does Seymour know like a back way onto the farm? Like,
Well, we don't have the
Quiet.
farm here. That's in Neiman's Gap. So Seymour can push the wagon out. Because it sounds like Patrick was describing it as the livery is close to the wagon storage.
It is. It's all that way when somebody wants it. You know, it's almost like sending someone to one location so the horses and the carts get prepared almost immediately.
okay,
If you
Yeah.
get the horses, I can push the wagon out.
Do either of you have any experience in? Well, no, we'll just find. We'll ask when we get to that point. Makes it better. So easy enough to find this livery. What time of night are you going?
I figure the later the better. Like, not like kind of like catch the last person at the on shift at delivery before they like close up, go to bed, whatever.
Quick question.
That would be around 11 bells at night.
Yeah.
When does Seymour know that the most bribable person or least responsible person is on watch? Because he's put his horses here before. He's put his wagon here before. Is there some guy who always gets the night shift who can be bribed for a bottle of whiskey?
Roll me an insight check.
So as the new human, every day I get a inspiration, correct?
Nope.
Yeah,
We're not
that's
playing
pretty good.
D&D.
Yeah, you know that at night there is, one of two sort of younger people that run it. There is Xanth, or what could be his sister or cousin, something like that. You don't really remember. That is
Could be
Dana.
both.
Oh my god.
Not in this. So it's Xanth or it's Dana. You would hope that Xanth is the one that is on duty.
I will share that with Cherub.
Okay.
And so I guess that's our plan. If Xanth is there, we bribe him to just get everything out. If Dana's there, does Dana find me handsome?
Does anyone?
Yes.
I
Many.
think Seymour Sunkissed is quite striking.
His mother did.
She said I was the coolest and most handsome boy in the world, so it's got
Emphasis
to
on
be true.
did.
All right.
Oh, it's not necessarily true anymore.
What do you bring with you?
Oh, Seymour isn't about that, so he probably wouldn't even think to bring anything for breaking and entering.
Let's see. What do I have?
Or for bribery is
Oh well, I've
the
got
idea as well.
tons of money with me, so. And I'll take a couple of bottles of brandy.
I have pretty much
Where?
everything you need to break into a place.
I will buy them, Brendan.
Yeah. Cherub opens his feathers like he's wearing an overcoat, and there's just like, what do you want?
Yeah, I've got the iron spikes, I've got the rope, I've got the crowbar, I've got the grappling hook.
I don't know what you would do with any of these. Is this some sort of railroad implement pointing at the spikes?
Chirp will just kind of pause, look at Seymour, and like slowly nod, like, sure.
All right. Coming up the road, you see there is a candle in the window of the livery office. It appears that, the last of the horses have been put away and brushed. Everything's been, mucked out for the day. Not a lot of people out on the street. You can hear the sounds of music wafting from one of the finer homes that still seems to have some sort of evening party going on. But
We'll avoid her because that's the one that complained with the pig.
Yep.
Arriving, you knock on the door, and as I rolled, there is a younger man, early 20s, long hair, sort of eyes that are slightly too large for the face, sort of long forehead, and opens up, coming with the candle, and seeing you, just says, "Oh, good evening, Master Sunkissed.
Oh, Xanth, it's good to see you.
We were told not to talk to you.
Are you sure that wasn't an old order? Because, no, I've been told you're allowed to talk to me.
And you see him look at like a little piece of paper that's been posted next to the door, and he says, "No, your pa came by today and said, please don't speak to you."
Are you 100% sure, and I'll kind of turn him away from the posted note, and Index will fly invisible into the room and change it to do
Nice.
whatever. Sorry, what was it that you said? It says do not give to Seymour Sunkist. It says do give to Seymour Sunkist.
And he just looks at you and says, I don't have time for your jokes right now, sir.
Oh, don't worry. I just need. It's been. You know what's going on. It's been a hard couple days, and I just need to go out for a ride. And
I'm real
if you
sorry
just
about
look
your
at the
mom.
note, clearly it says I'm allowed to go with my wagon.
Look, I was told I'd get fired.
What can Chirp do to help this?
How much are you getting paid a month for this?
I get about 3 gold a month.
How would you like 5 gold a month to come work for us and be our groom? We get out of here. No more worries about being fired. I'll never fire you. You're my buddy.
$5 gold, huh? I can't leave. My dad's real sick though, but that's a good offer. I wish I could. I wish I could.
We can stop and pay the doctor on the way. The cleric can pay for your dad. Don't worry. We just need to get out of here fast.
So while they're doing this, can Chirrup try have a look at the papers and try and forge new ones with his forgery kit?
Sure. Give me a perception check first.
Perception.
That's perfect, Steph.
Yeah, you absolutely are able to get a scan of the paper. I will say Index sort of, removed it off the wall and has it sort of floating just above Xantha's head.
Mm-hmm.
So now you give me a roll with your forgery kit.
Okay. I have my forgery kit. Where did it go?
Might be under tools. Under your passive perception.
Yeah, it's under in the left column, bottom.
Okay, 1 second. I'm blind here.
It may also say
Oh,
it
what
doesn't
is,
know what ability.
Yeah, that's what's wrong. What ability am I using for it?
Intelligence.
Okie dokies.
Or is it performance?
Depends on if you're trying to make it look official or sound official.
I would say at this point, because you are attempting to copy handwriting, that mimic handwriting is a DC 15. Give me, wow, it's a deception check.
Oh, straight deception?
Yeah.
Alright.
Cheer
I'm
up
good
like
at
that.
No! Do I have inspiration? Can I do it again? Or
I don't know if
advantage?
I don't know. You don't have advantage because you're doing this at night, sort of in the dark.
I did
Yeah.
try and give the entire party inspiration for being so fucking brilliant during that Seymour Daddy scene. Does that count?
I don't think you get to do that.
Aww. You were all so good,
He can
though.
nominate. It's the DM's decision to give it up.
I will say, you're trying to do this in the dark in candlelight, so you don't make a perfect forgery, but it is, again, low light. It is dark. They are going to have disadvantage on their wisdom check to figure out. And so how do you produce this forgery?
Has he made any kind of comment about a Birdman being there with Seymour? Like, has he noticed me? I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, he's noticed you. I mean, you would have probably sort of dipped off, but I mean, he's been, Seymour has kept him very much engaged.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll just kind of like come up and just kind of like tap on the shoulder and mimic Mr. Sunkist's voice and say, "New orders," and hand it to the stable guy. So hopefully that'll help, because I'm, mimicking that I've been given new orders for this guy.
Yeah, and he opens it up and reads it and rolled a 13 and an 8.
Yes.
And just looks genuinely confused.
It's all right. You can go to bed. We will. We can hook everything up ourselves. No worries.
Do you know how to do that?
Oh, that's in Seymour's backstory, where he was very hands-on with the servants, and that's why they like him. He's not like a normal Toph. He actually wanted to learn everything.
So he's not Winthrop, in other words.
He's not Winthrop.
But
No,
does
yes,
he have
thank you.
proficiency in the tool?
No. But he knows enough about it that it should be an even roll, I would argue.
He will just say, "Well, no, I'll come help you," and he will help you, hook up the horses. You can see the wagon itself has been cleared out of supplies and things like that. It's been emptied, but
That's
it is still
fine.
intact. He, assists you in setting it up. Give me either a land vehicles check or an animal handling to get the horses to listen to you.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can I inspire him?
Yeah.
All right, it's a D8. Sorry, it's a D6 still. I'm not a 5th level bard yet.
oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh, you are
Thank
fifth
you.
level.
You are.
Yeah, we hit level 5.
No, I'm 4 bard, 1 rogue.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
He's a rogue.
We watch as you are able to get the horses to go. They are not happy as they were, in their blankets and bedded down for the night. But you coax them.
There are a few points where Winthrop literally just Winthrop, Jesus. Thanks, Chris. Seymour picks up a few of the horses just to get them moving. 19 strength.
And you are able to coax them out. You just barely miss the post as you leave, but you are able to navigate and get your cart out of storage. And where do you want to take it in town?
And that's where I look at Chirp and say, all right, this is your idea. Where are we going?
Find a place to stash.
Yeah, you would know through the welcomers probably a good place to stash this for the night.
Yeah, until we're ready to leave, and now we've got our mode of transportation back.
And as we're, after you say that to Seymour and we're like, trotting along, Seymour will go, oh, I guess it was good I didn't report the welcomers, while patting Chirp on the back.
Chirp will be like, yeah, you think? Not in so many words, of course.
Probably in 0 words, if I had to guess.
More in looks and gestures.
I just imagine the Kookaburra laugh.
Yeah, that'd probably be appropriate for this, yeah.
All right, and as you make your way into the night, we'll take a 5-minute bio break and pick up with you heading off to Prosser in the morning.
Huzzah!
Ah.
I'm
Are we?
that we did that. I'm so happy we were able to pull that off.
Are we
I
only
was
at
so-
8:43? That feels like 3 games worth of exposition. That was amazing.
Oh,
I am so happy.
and it was so much fun.
It was. You guys did so good. Oh, I loved just stepping back and you guys going after Seymour's dad. That was brilliant.
So I did a thing.
Somewhere Max is sitting in a pub smoking a pipe with a pint in front of him, going, "Boy, I hope they're not doing a heist right now."
While
is
having a
Max
celery
going to
water
be?
because it's still dry.
No, we're in Brindle. We're not.
No, we're in
even-
Brindle, not Neiman.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
forgot about
screwed
that.
up.
Yeah, you're right.
I screwed
Right back.
up. I misunderstood Patrick.
Yeah, no, I need a drink. Fuck that.
Damn right.
All right, I'll be right back.
Fucking fantastic.
Did anyone see my updated picture of the giant?
Not yet.
I posted it in painted miniatures.
Oh, okay. Nice. I guess Aboob is listening to us, so spying on us from with his welcomers contacts. Do.
That would be right. I am.
Hello! You're too late. Chirp has a new heist buddy.
Oh, bad.
How's it going?
All good on my end. Same old, same old.
Huzzah!
Nah, nothing new on my end. My timings might be changing back to the morning shift, so yeah, that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, I missed my cathartic murder hobo stuff thing.
Yeah, it's fun. So you were, just so you know, you were Chirrup's first choice, but
Oh. But he still didn't go with it, and that's why I'm still going,
I can't believe we did that. I can't fucking believe we did that.
I'm gonna have to watch the beginning part because I definitely think I missed something huge.
Oh,
So,
you
yeah.
miss a lot of
yeah.
character development with Seymour.
Oh, it was amazing. I loved it.
I'm back.
No.
And a lot of burb stomping.
Burps?
Burb stomping.
Oh,
Yeah, we stomped Chirp a bit for some reason.
Haha.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal. I don't know. There were baseball bats involved too. I don't
Yeah,
even
no,
know.
Edward Norton was there.
At one point, like, Chirp was even doing that, like, two-legged hop stomp.
Back.
there is a lot of things I'm missing out of context on this conversation. But again,
Oh my god, Nabil. It was so amazing.
I'm gonna definitely need to watch this from the beginning to find out what the hell is going on with you guys.
Patrick basically just put a inflation tube in me and just pumped up the main character syndrome in Seymour.
Holy crap.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that
great.
too.
The whole party. Seymour got pissed at his dad. It's like, I can't deal with you. And the whole party came together and questioned him and got everything out of him. It was fucking amazing.
We also talked good things up about Seymour to his father. Like, yo, he's actually somewhat responsible now.
Seymour doesn't know that. But I should have mentioned that. Yes, absolutely. It's fantastic.
I think at this point, like, well, Chirp is more than happy to fill Seymour in once Seymour is, like, calmed down and, like, ready to listen and hear it.
Yeah, he's not ready to listen and hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he appears,
He just
ready
stole
to
a
listen-
wagon. He's not ready to listen to anything.
If he
The
seems
sad thing
like
is-
he's
This is actually proving he is. Because he's stealing the wagon to go off and do something important.
yeah, I was going to say if it seems like he's ready to listen, then like Chirp will tell him on the way to the hideout. But until then, is
Oh yeah, it'll get quiet. You can, and Seymour will just, as a chirp is talking, just get lower, and his head will go lower and lower below his shoulders as he realizes everything that's happened.
Chirp's like not trying to make you feel bad, but you do deserve to know this. Your dad's
Oh,
an
no,
asshole,
absolutely.
but it wasn't intentional.
No, that's all good to know, but that's going to take some time for Seymour to process.
100%.
Is everybody back?
We're still waiting on Steph. Do you want me to run up and see how long she's going to be?
No, that's fine. We can get started.
And we have more players than we left off with.
Bye, Nabil. I think
Are
he
you
just dropped
joining in,
out.
Nabil? No, he's gone.
Yeah, he just left. I think he jumped in temporarily.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
just to say hi since I was talking about him. Talking smack about you, boy. Not really.
Maximilian,
Yes.
morning comes at the garrison. You go down to retrieve your armor that you just put in for, buffing and repairs. And it's not there. Waiting for you instead, you are told by the armorer was something that was ordered for you yesterday and paid for by a benefactor, and you find a suit of plate mail armor with a new rank of Leo.
Wait, what is Leo? Is that Leo Lion?
Leo is just like a step up in the Lions of Brindle. So basically, it's like going from a corporal to, like a lieutenant.
That's a big upgrade.
That is a big
That's
upgrade.
huge. Yeah.
But it's not that big an upgrade, but like your next rank up then.
Yeah.
You went from
And
lieutenant to captain.
I'm like,
But he did so in a third of the time.
and like Max is just looking at this, like he doesn't quite believe what he's seeing, and he just looks over at the armor. He's like, Jorge, you did a really good job buffing this armor.
Thank you. And the promotion came from Captain Ulverth and the others. I don't know anything about that. I was just told to put the rank on your armor, but yeah.
Well then,
I got your split mail if you still want it, but otherwise it'll just go back into reserves for the next graduate.
let's just say I'm not about to say no to this. Jorge, you do fantastic work. And I immediately just start fawning over this armor. It's like, ooh, oh my god. And I try it on. It's like, oh, it fits. Oh, it's so good. And
All I can picture is that the scene from The Grinch where he's like, ooh, ah, and the lederhosen.
But it's perfectly polished and reflects everything around him.
And there's a bit of an 80s music montage as you try different pauldrons and gauntlets with it.
Dun, 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 dun. Awesome. And so Max will, I'm not sure if there's a mirror in this place, but Max will just sort of admire himself in the mirror. As a paladin of glory, he must look fantastic at all times.
If it's gloriful.
And he'll look and he'll just be like, all right. And he will proudly stride out into the yard.
And you get salutes and claps from the few men that are still on duty, and you can make your way over to the Craven Raven where the rest of the party awaits.
Absolutely. I have to suit up here.
They are eating their, morning meal, sausages, fresh farm eggs, lots of, fresh vegetables and hot coffee that is produced around here.
All right, and into the Craven Raven strides Max.
Clangs Max.
God, he's shinier than before. God.
Aren't I, though?
Seymour goes back to his cup that he's clearly back in.
If Seymour's drinking, that's progress.
Maybe we should try to deprogress a little bit for Seymour's liver's sake.
Oh, so I can heal that. It's
Not forever, you can't.
not going to be a forever thing. Everything's fine.
I can hear both of you!
Quiet, Seymour. We're having a little sidebar over here.
Seymour, we're
Mark
just
there.
concerned about you.
Let's be concerned about Tiamat, shall we? Takes another drink.
We are concerned about Tiamat.
I thought we were a paladin and a fighter of the proletariat.
Defender of the proletariat.
Either way, fucking Tiamat.
We are going to kill Tiamat. She's the biggest bourgeoisie of them all.
All right. Max, do you fill in the rest of the group about your requested visit to Prosser?
I absolutely do. You're like, all right, so we have to go to Drellin. So I've been posted back to Drellin's Ferry. However, on the way, there might be something that might help us in the future against this Red Hand group. There's the there was Lady Alagondar's barrow in Prosser, which may in fact hold her sword, which kills dragons.
Ooh, would we be able to get that?
Well, I don't know. I have a contact there, and it's a bit of a detour. But if you're willing to go raid a barrow,
Like dragons or dragon gods, or just that prick who has my money?
I don't.
Very
know.
surly from Seymour.
Oh, that. Yeah. Look, your money's probably gone, man.
We can take
And
it
your
back.
hat.
And, oh,
I hadn't forgotten the hat.
The hat's the important part.
Yeah, that's right. Oh. Well, we'll see if we can find it. Maybe. Well, I mean, we are heading to Drellin's Ferry, and there is a fence there that I wasn't aware of when I left, but maybe they have your hat. We'll find out. But anyways, to Prosser, and then around to Drellin's Ferry.
Chirp
say?
will kind of perk up at when Max first mentions Drellin's Ferry.
I suspect that you and your associates might be interested in what's happening there. From what I understand, this Lady Dagger probably isn't getting approval for the things she's doing. But we'll find out together, won't we?
Chirp will make a non-committal sound.
All right. So, we ready to go?
I can't think of anything else Chirp needs to do. I've reported in, I've stolen the wagon so we can ride in, ease and luxury.
You're just using Seymour, aren't you?
No. That has Chirp's stash in it. He's not letting that go. And
I
also,
was
it just
wondering
makes
about
things
Seymour's
easier.
stash.
This makes things easier for all of us to have the wagon back, honestly. Like, Chirp wasn't about to let that go in any way, shape, or form.
Thank Marks for the wagon.
I don't think Marx is giving us a collective wagon. Let's go.
So
Yeah.
this is gonna be fun. Like, I don't think Chirp's going to want to lead the whole party there. So I think he's going to be like, hey, like, stay here, and I'll like keep the party distracted, Seymour, and I'll bring the wagon back.
So here's the problem. We didn't bring the driver, so who's gonna?
I thought
Run the wagon.
You hired that guy as a groomer.
No, he was too stupid even for us to trick.
Maximilian T.
What?
Justice, are you perhaps familiar with land vehicles?
I'm sorry, Trick, driver.
Maximilian T. Justice, are you perhaps familiar with land vehicles?
Let's see here. I have an animal handling of 1, and I don't think a single tool proficiency. So no.
Really? You're
Military
Yeah.
background?
Soldier background should, if you are soldier background.
I am a faction agent.
Ah, shit.
I'm an Order of the Gauntlet agent. I am not a soldier.
Well, this is going to be fun. Sheriff's going to try and go and get the
Okay.
wagon.
Dr.
We-
Padme Ison,
Can't we hire somebody? You did lose
Yes,
access to your
We're
truck.
gonna have to hire someone. Yes.
do you perhaps have some kind of magical tool which you can use to gain proficiency in various tools?
Tools, yes. Vehicles, no.
I would
Oh,
argue
fuck it,
vehicle
Seymour.
proficiencies are tool
No.
proficiencies.
Seymour's gonna sigh and push his drink back. And wait, I don't know if this does borrowed knowledge work for this. No, it's a skill.
Do
Animal
I have...
handling.
The sad thing is, we need Haboob, because Haboob
God.
could do it with one of his souls.
Yeah, no, I'll do that with animal handling. Seymour, now thoroughly liquored and feeling very confident in himself, will go out and prepare the horses.
Hold on, son.
Motherfucker!
Hold
I will
on, son.
inspire you.
He got a 20. He doesn't need inspiring.
There's no need to
Oh.
drive drunk.
So I kind of want to keep this a secret from the party until Seymour, like just me and Seymour talking about it and trying to figure it out, and then Seymour just pulls up in the wagon.
Seymour
Yeah.
won't remember.
Yeah, Seymour, ably shows up as the rest of you are still questioning all of these things. And, you hear a few people outside just kind of exclaim as this massive thing rolls through. You are able to embark, and Seymour cracks the lead, and the 4 horses lead you out of town, and
To leads them out of town to a cheer of, "This only lasts an hour and I'm incredibly drunk." Crack.
I really want to know, like, what's the party's reaction when Seymour rolls up in this? Because everyone thought it was, like, impounded.
I didn't know anything about the wagon. I just assumed that Seymour would have it.
True.
His dad did say that his dad did intimate that he would be kind of maybe letting him go a little bit during our conversation. I don't know. Maybe his dad gave him the wagon as kind of I don't know enough about that situation.
Nerds. Fair enough.
Good jackboot.
Molly knows better than to ask questions.
Good communist.
That name's just impressed.
I don't name my boots Jack,
never look a gift horse in the mouth.
There you go.
or 4 of them.
While riding, Molly is going to look around, make sure Max is nowhere to be found, and then kind of will lean in and whisper to Seymour. So, Seymour, I see you have the wagon back.
Yes, what about it? It's my wagon.
Does that mean you still have access to that trust fund as well?
Uh,
What a communist.
you know I never assumed I did. Every cent I've had has been from the paper. I don't want any of that from Dad except for the wagon, padding wood.
But how did you buy the materials to make that contraption?
I mean, I scrounged them. It started as an old apple press, actually.
An old apple press.
Yeah, that I found in the back of a barn, and me and the lads slowly upgraded. It started out as a very simple press, and as we worked, we were inspired, and it grew.
This seems highly suspect.
This does seem highly suspect.
Sus.
How is that in any way suspect?
Oh, Chirp doesn't think it's us. Thar does.
I will say, as you are traveling and leaving town, we'll cut across to a curtain being drawn open as Lord Sunkist looks out, spies the empty stable, the missing carriage, and smiles to himself. Closes the curtain.
Aw.
Happy noises.
Meanwhile, back at the interrogation, yeah, your travels to Prosser are quiet. It's a short trip along a fairly well traveled road. You pass a couple of other merchants. You know that Prosser itself is a fly speck of a town, really. It's about halfway between Brindle and Hillwatch. It's a quiet little hamlet where the adventuring group known as the Six Blades retired 2 years ago. They had been known for clearing a bunch of troublesome monsters across the Vale. And, as they retired there, brought a little bit of prosperity to the town. It is, as many other places grow fruits and vegetables in the area, they specialize more in fungi and mushrooms and things of that sort. And it's a very quiet, very peaceful town that most people just find kind of weird. Think of it like a hippie commune kind of a thing.
So they don't have a thriving truffle industry?
They might.
I was gonna say, is it like it's not. It's like champagne, but it's not quite. Champagnaires, where they grow all the mushrooms in France.
Well, this is more of a country version of that. I mean, as you pull into town on the second day after, having a very comfortable sort of sleep, you find, dirt road, wooden buildings. Think like the equivalent of almost like a Wild West town. Everything is, clean. Everything is organized. You can see there are, sort of covered areas and different, farmlands that are still obviously well tended. In the, sort of mid-morning as you are pulling in, the sun is out. It remains bright and hot. I mean, this is just another absurdly warm day as the Vale has been having through this whole, last month or so. I would say you do notice that a lot of the houses have their shutters closed. Seymour, with your passive, you would notice that. A lot of, sort of curtains are drawn. You don't see a lot of people out in the streets. There are a couple of, kids selling things from stalls. There are papers that are sort of out being moved around. But I mean, this community itself can only be a couple of hundred people maximum.
Hey, Molly, we found your people.
Hey!
And as you pull into the main street, it is easy enough to find the tap house. It is clearly actually named the Tap House. And as your large wagon pulls up to the front, a half-elven woman steps out, and you can see there is, a pin on her cloak that clearly identifies her as the law of the town, and sort of watches you come down. And there's basically a large T intersection in the center of town. The Tap House is right on the corner of it. It's one of the only two-story buildings in town here.
Thank you. We've been traveling all night. Would you take the reins, please? Oh, thank you. As I pass the reins off to her.
Seymour.
And she does not reach out for them. Instead, she kind of whistles, and you see a younger teen girl step out and kind of blink in the sunlight as, it is clearly darker inside. the tap room, and she just says, Saren, please assist these people with their horses. See that they are watered and fed.
Oh,
What
thank
can
God that you
I-
were the groom. Oh, it's been a long
What-
drive.
Welcome to Prosser. I am Delir. What brings you to our
And
village?
Max will step down, resplendent as always, with his lion's livery on, and he will say, "Miss Starcloak, I'm so glad to make your acquaintance. Captain Ulvir sent me to inquire as to this little matter of the barrow at the edge of your town."
Ah, well, you say true, I say thank ye. Yes, your comrades in arms came through not long ago. By the way, we don't go for violence in this community, so I'd prefer you not brandish your weapons around if you don't mind.
Of course, we'll be. We're really only really only in town for some breakfast. I hear the tap house makes makes some fine eggs, and also we're here to basically investigate this barrow. I take it that Lady Alagondar was one of your companions in the Six Blades.
Oh, nay, she died long, long before we were even young cullies.
Oh,
But I know your compatriots thought that her barrow resides here, so that is an interesting query. Come in for some food.
thank you very much. And
Oh, that sounds amazing. And please don't worry about them eyeing the rest of the party, every one of them armed. Seymour clearly not. They won't be an issue.
I'm gonna give Seymour the side eye, but then insight check the person, the law that we've just been talking to, out of a general suspicion of law and order types.
And she does welcome you in, and she says, well, if you're here for breakfast and you say you've heard we have good eggs, if you say true, I say thank you. And she will lead you up to the bar.
uh-oh.
Happening?
A
The
map has
conquering
been-
heroes are getting eggs.
Yeah,
With eggs.
Nothing.
No, there are a few people that are on the sort of raised stage that are kind of townsfolk here, and they, seem to be sitting in a circle, almost kind of humming and rocking back and forth, and they appear to be being led through what could be a meditation or a guided journey of sorts by a halfling male, indeterminate age, somewhere between 50 and 90. They have that sort of sunken pallor of elderly, but they still seem to move fairly spryly. She offers you drinks and asks, do you wish for some of the local mushrooms with your eggs as well? We have an omelet, or we have scrambles available this morning. We got some fresh sausage in that go in the scrambles, but we have 3 varieties of mushrooms. We have some of the green top. We have some lovely sort of wild picked ones, and then some of the black truffle as well that were found under some of the local trees here.
I look at my purse. The truffle sounds expensive.
I hear mushrooms. I kind of give a look over at Badmay. Does Badmay seem phased or excited for any of these mushrooms?
She has never been terribly enthused about mushrooms and politely declines them as they do not agree with her stomach.
I could kill for a mushroom omelet right now.
Seymour
Chris
croaks
or Maximilian?
Yes.
omelet and a Bloody Mary.
Seymour Sunkist, are you sure it is wise to drink so early in the morning?
Repeats the egg omelet and Bloody Mary.
Yeah, and they are able to, provide you with, any sort of morning drinks. You do get a bit of a raised eyebrow with the sort of alcohol, and they say, "We don't drink a lot here. I mean, our mushrooms can be used in medicines and elixirs, of course, and we do have hallucinogens if you wish to." And she will sort of, show her arm over to those that are on the stage. As she does,
No
Seymour,
hallucinations in the morning for me, please.
yeah, you
Molly's
notice.
eyes go wide and like, ooh, I'm starting to like this place.
Yeah, you notice a small growth sort of on the side of her neck, almost like a tiny tree branch kind of sticking out of it.
And Seymour is so profoundly hungover that he's kind of squints at that and then notices that nobody else has noticed it or that she's noticed him noticing it and repeats, "Just the Bloody Mary. Maybe we'll skip the eggs."
I know. Does everyone notice that little branch coming out?
Just Seymour, he's got the highest passive.
So, Miss Starcloak, tell us about this this group that came in a few days prior. I was told that they were turned away, perhaps, or perhaps turned back by whatever's in the barrow. Let's, what have you heard? What have you seen?
Oh no, we sent your people home. We didn't approve of the military coming in and, asking too many questions.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Fight the power.
Well, I would just say, I would hope we will be well met. They were full of questions that were a little unwelcome. I preferred to meet with you if you're the one who has the real inquiry. Now, you mentioned Lady Alagandar.
Yeah.
You say true that you believe this to be her actual resting place?
From what I've been led to believe, this is what I'm here to find out.
You say true. I thank you. I mean, if this be the clearing at the end of the path they put her in, that would be something impressive, but why do you want to raid her resting place?
It's not as if I wish to unduly disturb the dead, although we have been known to do that. Mostly, there's something I need to find there. Perhaps it exists. Perhaps it's merely a rumor, but I would like to put this rumor to rest, if that's at all possible. Really, we're just looking for, we're mostly just here on business. Stop by, have a friendly chat, poke around in this barrow a bit. We won't stay long.
Aye, and your mushroom omelets, I mean, the food, the eggs come out. They are incredibly fresh, bright orange yolks. Very tasty. The local sausage is really good. And she calls the halfling over off the stage and just says, Pero, these folken are looking to dig in the barrow on your farm. And they climb up onto sort of the cask, so they're kind of eye level with all of you. And you can see as he looks at you, his eyes aren't quite focusing as they look at you. You can see his pupils almost seem to be dilating and shrinking. And as he speaks, you get a scent of sort of rotting leaves. And he just says, we don't mind as long as they don't disturb much else of the grounds. Will you be promising not to delve deeply?
Just as deeply as we need to. We're not we're not interested in turning over the entire barrow. We're mostly just interested in finding out if Lady Alagondar is interred there. Checking to see if certain items are present. Retrieving one of these items and then making our exit, and we will abide by any requests to not delve too terribly deeply into this barrow. We're not here to make trouble.
If you stand true, I say thank ye. And at this point, Molly and Chirrup, you notice like a glimpse of like a carpeting of tiny white strands on like the bottom of this halfling's tongue as they are speaking as well. And again, a couple of odd kind of growths just sort of behind the ear and on like the side of their neck coming out of the shoulder.
Would I recognize this from, Underworld being part of any drugs?
Molly has no idea what this is.
Meh, benign and a half.
You don't recognize this as an underworld drug thing. I would say you would recognize the part of the continents is probably drug usage, but not the white strands or the weird growths. But certainly their eyes and maybe the way they're behaving sounds like they might be on something for sure.
Okay, but there's like the Welcomers don't really deal in drugs, so Chirp wouldn't really know what's going on.
It's not like it's a drug that you would recognize. I would say the Welcomers probably certainly deal in hallucinogens from this area, and you might recognize it as that. But yeah, that you would recognize. But yeah, the physical signs doesn't correlate to anything like that as far as you're aware.
Alrighty. Yeah, Chirp's getting skeeved out here. You can see his feathers starting to floof up a bit.
I mean, my drink's pretty good.
Oh, the food is fresh and tasty. The drinks are clear. And Delier will look and just say, so for your father's sake, I hope you're true. Don't be upsetting too much underground here. Perhaps we can abide and be well met and have an agreement then.
She's saying that to Max?
She's saying that to all of you, but to Max specifically, as he is clearly leading this.
If that's what it takes to get us in the barrow, then yes, we will promise not to delve too deeply.
And, the halfling will just say, if they are not harriers, then we have no reason to make them runt. They may delve shallowly and will like remove their cap and kind of flourish and just say, "We say true. I say
there's
thank you."
a slight snort in Seymour's cup as everyone hears, and the dwarves dealt too deeply. Chuckling to himself.
And
guys
Seymour and Molly and Chirrup, you all notice that as, you know, he sort of doffed his cap, there is like a white curled, like antler-looking growth out of part of his skull.
Alrighty.
Now, Max doesn't notice the growths or the little sort of branches or whatever, but he is noting a lot of very odd turns of phrase. Would that twig anything in Max?
Give me an insight check.
19.
It's really old-fashioned talk, like really old-fashioned talk. It's not all like bumbling country folk kind of thing. Some of the expressions are, but it is a common tongue that is long out of practice.
Long out of practice as in a few decades out of practice, or long out of practice as in I've only ever read about this in books that are like 500 years old out of practice?
A few decades out of practice.
So it's like they would be speaking Shakespearean English in modern day.
Not quite that far back, but certainly, like it'd be like talking to someone in the late,
So,
maybe
like,
100 years ago, like the late 1800s. Like if somebody was in a Little House on the Prairie kind of a thing.
Okay.
almost talking like Seymour's family, like that older kind of vernacular because it makes them upper crust, but here it's just old vernacular.
To a certain extent.
It's archaic vernacular. Not ancient, but pretty old.
Come on, Max, get on the trolley.
I have no idea what that means. You mean your trolley, the one outside?
I think that's a
There's a
wagon. I'm
wagon.
not sure what a trolley is.
Patrick, Julius is making a point to not eat the eggs.
Okay.
Is anybody like concerned about that? Does anybody like throw in a fit?
No, Delir will sort of look and just ask if there's anything wrong with them.
I'm sorry, my people hatch.
Make the owl eat it.
Well, that is...
It is fine. I just do not consume them.
That is understandable. We beg your pardon.
I'm sorry. Was it Darren?
Delir.
Not Delir. The halfling.
I don't remember.
Ah, excellent. Well, it's Darren now. Delir, we're glad that we can come by. Have you heard anything about this barrow? Are there any old stories about it? Disappearing livestock or weird voices, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, strange witch lights, they say, hover over the barrow at night. Some say it's haunted by the restless spirits of the dead, but I've not really come across that myself.
Well, we've dealt with the restless spirits of the dead, so hopefully we can all come to an understanding. I have to say, this omelet is fantastic. I had heard many great things, but this exceeds my expectations. How much
You
do
say true, I say thank you.
Well, I do say true, and I also say thank you.
5 silver for your meals, but I can offer gifts of some mushrooms if you need anything like that. We're always happy to share our bounty here in town.
We may be back later, but I'm willing to. I'm ready to get started in the barrow if everybody's ready for that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you are given directions. It's about 4 miles away in some of the sort of richer farmland. I will say that as you tramp across the fields, you do not see a lot of people out in the sunlight. A few younger folk, but that is about it. There are animals that are around that eye you and then ignore you. And then eventually you find about a 30-foot hill rises ahead of you. Its top a little too flat to be a natural occurrence, and jutting from the grassy hilltop is a row of 10-foot tall, bone-white rocks that arc toward the stormy sky like outstretched talons. Those of you who ate, your stomachs are full. Everything is, settling nicely. Seymour, the sun is a little too bright on your eyes right now, but other than that, it's a lovely late morning.
Yeah. Yep, I've zoomed out. I see it.
Yeah.
If that cicada would shut up, as he shouts at a tree.
Seymour, here's some more booze. A bit of the dog that bit you.
This is gonna be fun.
Maybe you should go a little light on that this morning.
I agree.
Why? It's not like seeing the outline in the ground.
Yeah, I will say, Julius, with your owl, or Seymour using your familiar, as you fly up, you can clearly notice a distinctive dragon-like shape. And the pale rocks from up in the air, they resemble spikes protruding from a dragon's back.
Oh God, I'm not ready for this. Putting Visine in eyes.
Okay. Well, there's no obvious entrance, so we are in fact going to have to pick a place to start digging.
Well, hold on,
Yeah.
and we'll send Index out to see if there is a way in somewhere. I'll look through his eyes and use my investigate
Guidance.
or perception.
Perception.
Oh, and a guidance.
Flying up and around in between these, you spot an opening in the earth just below that rock.
Could you ping again? This rock? Oh, okay. I will share that with the party. While shielding his eyes from the sun.
All right. And yeah, as the rest of you look around, you can, see there is an opening beneath the base of this rock, but no apparent way to move it. What do you do?
How big's the opening beneath the rock? Can we get one of the familiars in, or...
No, it's not even large enough for that.
Ah, excellent. Well, Max has a block and tackle.
All right.
And some
Yeah.
rope.
You can
simply
lash
said-
some ropes around the top of it, and then someone can give me an athletics check, please.
I don't even think Seymour will wait for that and just try and push it. Yep, he just tries and push it.
Ah, athletics, one more than me.
It topples over, revealing a 2-foot wide spiral staircase with flagstone steps, descending into pure darkness.
And Seymour will, crassly say, "There, puzzle solved."
And, as it topples over, you get a smell of damp earth and stale air escaping.
All right, that's only 50% me.
That was all the gloves. All right, let's get ready to go down into yet another dark, nasty hole.
Well, after you, big fella.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the hole's up here.
Would you like to use
Yeah, it's
our
that rock.
globe of light?
Yes, absolutely.
Would we perhaps like to send your contraption down first, Seymour Sunkist?
Yes, let's do that. He will sigh and go back. Oh god, there's no sun when I do this. And go in as I lean against this rock, and we will scout out down below. Oh, he turns invisible before he goes down.
Mart, he remembered.
Yeah, because he's a stickler about that.
I think that was a completely fair judgment.
It was.
Well, you're no longer on my side. You can take your loot bag and go home.
Ooh, he gets a loot bag.
All right, heading down the spiral staircase. After 30 feet or so, you reach the bottom, and you find it opens up into a 5-foot wide passageway that branches off in multiple directions. You see a passageway south, east, west, and slightly around the corner to the north.
Which way did we come in?
You came in straight down, so it looks like
Oh,
you're
I
in the
see.
middle at this point.
So it's not a staircase, it's like a chute.
No, it's a circular staircase.
Oh, circular chute. Oh, okay, I see. I will report that. And Index will go pick one direction and we will go to the extent of the... I gotta double check what I can see through. I think it's 120 feet.
Yep, and everything is dim light. There is a shorter passageway to the south that you see. There's a pile of bones and what appears to be a narrow passageway leading from that space. To the east and west, there appear to be smaller rooms with sarcophagi in them. And then up to the north, you see there is a room again with 2 sarcophagi and the skeleton of a dragon with a sword resting on its skull. Familiars really take the whole fun out of exploring dungeons, don't they?
A little bit. But
And
it's also
it's,
the correct choice to make.
It's 100 feet. Sorry, that was my mistake, not 120 feet.
Yeah, no, all of that can easily be done. You've entirely mapped out this whole space.
Index will come back out and boop, 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 boop. We have found the map and present it on the ground for everyone.
Okay.
Just follow him. He knows where he's going. Ah.
All right, Drift Globe. Let's go.
So,
In this time, I would probably have cast Detect Magic ritually so that any obvious glyphs and such would light up for me.
sure. So, the down up where the head of the dragon is where there was just a pile of bones in a smaller passageway. Each of the wings, there were 2 sarcophaguses over here, 4 over here, and then the 2 sarcophagus with the dragon's head are sort of back in the tail area. So what is your marching order coming down the stairs?
I believe it'll be Max up front.
I would
Index will
probably
go
be,
with Max and help.
I
to
would
give him
probably
the help
be
action.
second.
How is he following Index if Index is invisible?
Index is going to follow Max, I said, and he's going to give Max the help action for the first thing that they fight. So it's just floating above his head.
So, who's behind Max?
Be behind Max.
No, I
Mary,
said I
yeah.
was.
Oh, okay. I'll be behind Badmay then.
I'll
I
kind
will
of
be
like
behind.
bring up. Yeah, I'll bring up the rear with Julius.
Julius, stop touching me.
Well, Molly took my spot, so
So move to the back.
I have odd flashbacks about being a wizard in the back.
Why are your hands so clammy, man?
All right, you make it to the bottom of the stairs. The drift globe lights up the way in front of you. So, Max, you can see a path to the south, east, west, and what would now be north. And at this point, you also notice, along with the drift globe, there are twinkling lights coming from this direction, from the south, as well as from the north towards where you were told to go.
Okay. I'm going to step here, and I am going to sort of clasp my hands together and do divine sense. And I wish to know if there are celestials, fiends, or undead within 60 feet of me.
You get the ping of undead coming from this direction.
Okay. I'm going to look back and go, we could grab the sword and leave. But there are undead in this barrow.
Yeah. And I mean, all of these tunnels and rooms it's all packed earth in some sort of stone. But yeah, the smell down here is just moldy earth, stale air.
Well, let's go. Let's grab this sword and let's get out of here.
That's to the north?
That's to the north, yes.
Yep.
Let's head. So move the drift globe with.
We've already mapped out the area. Index didn't see anything. Index is going to sit here and invisible and tell us if anything comes up behind us.
Sounds good.
All right.
To be fair, Index didn't see anything, but nothing saw Index either.
Yes, that's why he's staying here just behind us in case anything comes up. You never know.
Well, that's my.
All right. So yeah, so there are twinkling lights coming from down this passageway.
Oh, good. So we have had a scout. So
I'm stuck in the darkness and can't move my token.
I should have dark vision.
these are some pretty claustrophobic passages. So I'm going to step up to there. Step up to there.
Yeah, your armor kind of and your massive shoulders kind of scrape everything to the side, Max, as you make your way through these tight passages.
Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not that claustrophobic.
So yeah, and you can see just again twinkling lights just up around the corner.
Okay. There are twinkling lights here.
Are you sure you want to follow twinkling lights? Like, come on.
Yeah, no, that's usually bad. But we do need this sword. At least I think we need this sword.
It would be very advantageous to us if it
Yes.
is what we think it is.
So, step forward a little bit. Push the drift globe out a little bit. Are the twinkling lights sort of like moving with us? Like, are they moving away from us and keeping to the shadows ahead, or are they?
You don't get the sense that they're moving away. They're just up ahead somewhere around the corners. You just get like little tiny flashing twinkles.
Okay. So I'm going to.
And as the drift globe, moves forward, it sort of overpowers and the twinkling lights kind of disappear. But you step forward and you can see sarcophagi in alcoves to the left and right. Then, there is a sort of walled area directly in front of you, Maximilian. But you can see the sort of edges of dragon bones on either side of the wall, just where Index described there was a massive sort of dragon skeleton with a sword laying across its skull.
Yes. And I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to extend another divine sense. I want to know if in this area there are undead or fiends or celestials.
You get no ping back.
Any magicals?
Actually, that's not true. You get a ping of undead.
All right, Molly.
Yes.
We're gonna need some divine assistance here pretty soon.
All right, I take out my hammer and sickle.
All
And-
right.
I have destroy undead now.
She starts giving everybody her
Sorry.
money.
Max, as you
Yes.
step forward,
There or the other.
right there,
All right, guys, this will be super easy.
the floor beneath you collapses.
Ah!
You fall 10 feet. Roll me a d6, please.
No deck save.
No deck save.
4.
4. All right. You take 4 bludgeoning damage from the fall, and then
Son of a bitch.
15 piercing damage from the swords that are old and rusted that are impaled
Ow.
into the floor itself that you land on.
I found
Index
a lot
doesn't
of-
check for pits.
I found a lot of swords.
Are any of
They're
the one we're after?
No. Ow.
Ollie will sigh.
Okay, there's traps.
And as you move forward, Badme, you do pick up a large magical signal sort of ahead of you.
We didn't get any temporary
What?
hit points or anything like that. Nobody's got inspiring leader.
I mean, we've been doing it every other day. I forgot tonight. If Patrick will allow it, we can.
Nope.
What school is this magical? As I use an action.
Whatever
to read
the
it?
fucking magic school a dragon slayer sword is, I don't know.
Oh, okay, so it's a magic item. Okay.
Yeah, you know the dragon slaying
Well,
sword
no,
is
no.
ahead.
No,
Yeah.
no, the way you said it, it made it sound like it wasn't the sword itself that I caught, but instead it was some other item or object which could potentially have been a trap, like symbol or something. I wasn't certain. That's why I asked the school. Thank you
And then,
for correcting.
Popping up just beside you, Max, and with a sort of shock of lightning sparks fly out from underneath you.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Does not hit you as the rest of you see a group of sparkling lights fly up and vanish up around the corner, and it's time to roll initiative, please.
That's the drift globe.
That's hilarious.
I need the drift globe to not be here now, thanks.
Yeah, I can't see things without the drift globe.
I think that was my initiative.
He just needed to not be able, just almost like his own token beneath it.
Yeah. Do you want
Holy
me to
cow.
use the 14 or the 3?
The 14.
All right.
Will-o'-the-wisps have a 28 dexterity?
They're quick.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
They're
I'm looking
wisps.
I'm looking at I'm going to check the actual monster manual for
There's
that.
no way. That's got to be. They've got to have like an 8, and somehow a 2 got put in there.
They're magical wisps and motes of light.
Yeah, but 28 dexterity is like god levels of dexterity.
They lure travelers into marshes to eat them.
According to 5e tools, they've got a 28 dex.
What the fuck?
Wait, what?
It was always because. No wonder they told me I was a prick.
Yeah, they do.
Like that at level 1.
They're
That
fast
makes
as
no
shit.
goddamn sense.
All right. Yeah. And so as the rest of you see this, the light just winks out. That takes us to Chirrup. So Max, you are still down in this pit.
Yep. I'm climbing out next turn. And that fucking little spark is going to get his. Or its, or whatever.
So I don't see anything as a player. I don't see anything. You're saying these bar. I just know Max fell down, went boom.
And you
Because
yeah,
like,
from
I'm
where
all the way
you
at
are
the
at the
back
far, you would have seen some lights sort of twinkling and flashing fly up and then move around and kind of disappear. But inside the drift globe's light itself, it would have appeared, brighter for a moment and then gone. So yeah, at this point, you don't pick up anything there.
There's really not much I can do. I'm just trying to see. Can I fit
I
in
would
that
say,
little space
Chirrup,
there?
you see some twinkling lights coming from behind you back this way.
Oh, all right then. I will give my little alarm warning squawk, and then I will ready an action. What action am I going to ready? You know what? Might as well just ready. Pew pew. My repeating crossbow. I'll ready my repeating crossbow to shoot the first twinkly light I see.
All right. Maximilian.
I'm going to climb out of this pit. I'm going to move the drift globe, and then I'm going to climb out of this pit and move it back because that's not what I intended. All right. So I'm out of the pit.
Yep.
I don't see this thing.
You do not, but you do see this sword resting atop the skull of a dead dragon whose bones are partially affixed into the walls.
Okay. So I am going to step. Okay, this thing wants me, so I am going to step forward to there. I'm going to draw Ice Pick, and I am going to ready an action.
All right, and you can see the sarcophagi next to you appears to be carved from a solid block of granite.
Oh, good. That means there could be undead inside, and it wouldn't have picked it up. Okay, great. I'm fine here. It's all good.
All right. Padme.
Well, believing that Max has the best option here, I'm going to jump the pit and move off to this side and hold an action for Firebolt, I think.
All right. Julius.
Do I also see the lights that Chirrup saw?
You don't see those. You see a little bit of twinkling lights coming off from this direction somewhere.
Chirp would have warned you there was something coming up behind us, though, because that was what his alarm call was for.
Yeah. Max would have said there's undead to the south. I saw them to the south and to the west, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So you're aware that they're there. I'm not sure if they're now aware of us, but probably.
All right. Julius is going to look at Chirrup and say, we should endeavor to not have to fight them from 3 sides at once. And I'm going to use a painful amount of movement to get to here. Yeah, to there. All of my movement. I'm going to dash. Actually, can I see Maximilian T. Justice from here?
Yes. Well, you can if you can.
Yes. Well, I can see. Hang on.
You can see part of him, so yes.
I can see all of.
Well, we can all see through the Drift Globe.
Oh yeah.
Right on Max.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you like your 23 AC?
I love my 23 AC. It's shiny, even shinier than Max is normally.
That'll be it for Julius.
All right.
That's
All right.
action and movement.
Index.
We'll tell Seymour that they're coming up behind us and move up because this seems to be a circular hallway. Oh, I went the wrong way.
That's the circular staircase.
But the hallway's circular as well. Yes, okay.
Yes.
So Seymour will come up the Chirrup way, not past the thing, and kind of tuck into a corner. And yeah, let Seymour know that there is one coming up behind us.
All right. Molly.
Okay, can I see Max from here?
No.
Okay, if I go here next to Julius, can I see Max?
Yes.
Alright, I will do a quickie healing word just to top him off.
Thank
You
you.
get 7, and then I can't see what's attacking us, right?
Not currently.
Alright, I will hold my action of a sacred flame until I can actually see him.
All right. Seymour.
Right, Seymour's gonna be like, it's coming up behind us. One of those moat thingies. And ready to action. Blast it when it comes around the corner.
All right. Shut up. Your held action goes off.
Okay. And
You have your choice. One to the north of you, one to the south of you.
I don't think I can go after this one anyway because that one's in melee. And I ready
Yeah,
my
you would have seen it there. So
Okay, then I would probably go after that one.
okay.
Badoosh.
14 just whistles past it and sticks into the earth wall behind it.
Bloody hell. I will back up. And do I have any bonus action spells that would be useful? I don't think so.
That was your held action.
My held action. Sorry, you're right. I apologize. I saw I was back on my turn on the turn order, so
Nope,
I don't.
that's fine. Yeah, so this one's going to come up next to you and attempt to shock you. That, however, is only a 10, which does not hit.
Huzzah.
So Seymour, your held action now goes off.
Alright. Ooh, first time I get to use this.
That hits for 8 force damage.
No, I'm sorry. That should be 11 force damage. It didn't add my charisma bonus to it.
Also, you get 2 attacks.
Do I? I checked that and I couldn't.
Eldritch Blast, 5th level.
Yeah.
You get-
Yeah, it's Eldritch Blast.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot. Yes.
Can you hold 2 attacks?
No, it's not
You
2 attacks.
can't.
It's
He's holding his action to cast the spell, which fires 2 blasts.
The second one misses anyway.
Yep.
But
But
so
that
that hits
first
for
one's 11
11?
damage. Yep, and I will fix the damage.
All
And
right.
done.
It keeps coming towards you, and the lightning around it. That is a 21 to hit you, Seymour, for 15 lightning damage.
Oh, I wish Chirrup had actually been able to run there. Okay, 15 lightning damage.
Yep.
Got it.
All right. Evens max, odd Badme. Badme.
But does it
Coming
come-
into view right in front of you, your held action goes off.
Yeah, where is my... Sorry, it's at the very top here. Oh, yeah!
20 hits, 19
Jesus!
fire
I
damage.
get to add my intelligence modifier to
Damn.
anything that does certain elemental damages. So, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Even with it being so close, you lean back and just blast fire, and these lights wink out and are barely holding together in front of you, but we'll try and shock you. That is a 14 to hit, which does not hit. Takes us to Chirrup.
All right.
This one is going to actually... Yeah, it's just going to try and go hide, duck around the corner. Because it got
Attack of
so hurt.
opportunity?
No, because Badme had... he used his reaction to hold an action.
Oh, yeah.
But that takes us to Chirrup, so you now have one of these little light creatures right beside you.
Mhm. And we promised not to delve too deep and damage this place, didn't we?
We haven't yet.
We didn't really discuss what was too deep.
She's
we promised
talking
not-
shatter.
Yeah. Like, am I shattering or am I not shattering?
Do what's in your heart. We didn't discuss it.
My heart is saying shatter.
I promise not to.
So I will step back. I will
Okay.
take the attack of opportunity. Where is my
That is
shatter?
a 15 to hit you for 12 lightning damage.
I want to move it down, but it's not letting me because of dynamic lighting.
That's enough to get both of them.
Sorry, I missed that. 2 damage?
12 damage.
12 damage. Oh, sheesh. Okay. Alrighty. You know what? Oh, I can't upcast that yet. Alright, so let's just go ahead.
Yeah, there is a
And-
crack of sound as the walls partially cave in and collapse around that passageway.
Yeah, I knew it was a risk, but we gotta take these guys out quickly. Hopefully their con's not good.
That is a 2.
Yes.
That is a 3.
Yes.
Oh, and actually the one in front of you, Badme, doesn't appear to take all that fire damage. They are resistant to it. So it wouldn't have moved away. It's still fine enough.
I should have set myself on fire. Damn.
They both take, thunder damage as the sound waves, blast out. You can see they are hurt, but they don't take as much damage as you would like from that Chirrup.
Damnation. Alright.
They're resistant to thunder damage as well.
Fuck. Alright. That is it for me. I'm not going to risk another attack of opportunity if I can help it.
All right, that takes us to Maximilian.
Okay, I'm going to run down here. Beside one Badme Eisen. That was 10 feet of movement. I am keeping track of this. I am going to attack this thing with Ice Pick. Potentially twice. That is a nat 1.
Roll me percentile dice, please.
All right. Oh, good.
Ooh, the first one up.
Oh, my God.
Bye-bye, Badme.
Sorry. Hold on. I would like to cash in my inspiration. Or is it too late for that?
No, it's not too late for that.
Oh, excellent. I'd like to cash in my inspiration and try not to kill Badme.
All right. Yeah, the whole with a 1, you are embarrassed, but nothing remarkable happens other than you miss your attack.
Oh, okay. Well, I've already
You
said I'm
feel
using it.
shame. 16 does not hit.
Yeah, I did see their AC while I was looking at 5e tools. These guys are bastards. Second attack. That hits.
And if they have a 28
Yeah,
dexterity, that's
Their
a
night-
lot.
Their AC is 19.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So 8 piercing, 2 cold. I do know they're resistant to cold, so 1 cold, and
Yep.
7 radiant because I am smiting.
Ooh, you are smiting as well. They are not resistant to the radiant. So grand total of
16.
yeah, that is enough. This first one you stab through and it winks out.
Okay, so because my speed is so high, I could clear the gap, move through everyone, attack this thing, and then come back as the second action. Because I have a 60 speed now, so I could in fact move up to where Seymour is, jump the gap, squeeze past everyone, use my bonus action from or my special action from haste to attack this guy twice more.
Once more.
Once more.
You only get the one
You
extra.
only get the 1, yeah.
Haste specifies that you can make 1 attack.
Oh well, boo earns. I miss anyways,
You do miss.
and then I will head back.
Oh, why are you pushing?
Padme.
Feeling pushy.
All right. Knowing there's stuff back there,
Oh, sorry. Chirrup wasn't anywhere in the path of that. Was he?
Nope.
Okay.
He was down around the corner.
All right, so I can't cast magic weapon on Chirrup.
No.
All right.
okay. I'm
Magical sword beckons.
What
I
type
know.
of sword
I'll
is
get
it?
to it.
Yeah,
A
what
long
type?
sword.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to move straight up here. And is there, just looking at it, is there any, oh no, I already asked if there were any other fields of magic on it, so I'm going to reluctantly reach out and grab it.
All right. Yeah, you wrap your hands around the hilt. There is dust on it that sort of falls as you lift it off this dragon's skull. You can see the imprint on the skull itself as you lift it off its mark.
As I do, I say, we hope to use this for its utmost benefit. We will return it when we are done. And hopefully this doesn't bite me in the ass. Nothing else happens?
Nothing else happens.
Oh, thank God.
This round.
Okay. I moved, what? 10, 15, 20 feet there. I come back and say, I've got it, Max. We can leave if we need to. That's a sarcophagus to my right?
Yes, it is a sarcophagus that appears
Okay.
to be carved out of solid granite.
I am ignoring it.
All right, that takes us to Julius.
Did I hear Badme say this?
Yes.
All right. Molly is to the right of me, correct?
I'm just being camera.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can see there are twinkling
yeah.
lights on the other side of Seymour that are
Am I
having a hard
aware-
time staying alight.
Am I aware of anything past Seymour? Like any other?
Yeah, Chirrup was also fighting some
Yeah.
more down there as well.
Okay. I am going to Misty Step to this square.
All right. So yeah, you see there is debris littering the ground. Most of the way in front of you has collapsed, so it is difficult terrain.
Do I think the passageway to my left, or the screen's left, I guess Julius is right, loops around?
You would assume so.
All right, I'm going to turn to Chirrup and say, "We have what we are here for. Let us leave." And then 5, 10, 15.
All right, you will get an
25.
attack of opportunity from that guy.
That's fine.
That is a 9, which does not hit.
All right.
So yeah, you see a passageway to your left and then the passageway down to your south, and yes, you see that the entryway circles around.
All right.
Index.
We'll come up, give the help action, and then go back to hiding.
All right. Molly.
All right, so I would have heard that Chirrup attacked something, but I didn't see anything.
You would have heard the big bada boom.
Yeah, so I will go because I was right here. Chirrup, what's going on?
Broken common, lights.
So the lights are the enemy. So I'll sacred
Yep.
flame those lights.
All right.
Ooh, a dex save.
That's a 27.
Ah! Feel the wrath of the prolate. Oh.
Seymour. Sorry, any movement, any bonus action, Molly?
No. Max is fine. Badmay's fine. Everyone else is fine.
Seymour's a little hurt in front of you,
Seymour,
but he's
you
got that
alright?
drunk anger.
Whatever you want.
Save my spell slots.
All
wait,
right.
no, I'll heal him. I'll heal him fine. 7. There you go.
Thank you. She used up the help action, didn't she?
Nope. It's an
No.
attack.
Oh, nice. Alright, so this is an advantage. And this is not.
It's a ranged spell attack, so it would be a straight roll because it's right beside you. So the first one misses. The second one definitely hits and is more than enough to dissipate that creature.
And then I heard them say we're leaving.
You heard Julius say he was leaving.
What Julius said was, "We have what we are here for. Let's leave."
Alright, well I have some movement. If we're moving that way. 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. Done.
All right. That's the bottom of this round. I say it's 10 after 10. We will end it. But before we go, Badme and Maximilian, you feel a wind begin to sort of stir and flow in the space that you are in. And Badme, I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw, please. You had a feeling of almost overwhelming hopelessness overtake you, but you are able to shake it off. But still, you feel this breeze blowing and almost something whispering softly into your ear. And that's where we will pick it up next session.
Oh, great. The sword is cursed.
No, the sword
Were we expecting
could
differently?
just
No,
be
no.
sentient.
The barrow is haunted.
Yeah, we noted that. We're fighting things that are ghosts and electric ghosts.
I think thematically she thinks she beat it because she said the little prayer before she took the sword.
No, it's time to go.
Yep. And with that, I will end the stream. It's thank you, Kane Phoenix, for watching. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.